Can I just get you to, when you want to speak, just you can just start speaking and say, can I please raise a concern or raise a point?
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Jill, I'll do my best to keep my eye on you. You've just got a small square up there, but if you don't... Good. Well, welcome members of the gallery, viewers watching on live stream, staff, councillors to the Richmond Valley Council's July Ordinary Meeting. I will open the meeting with acknowledgement of country. Richmond Valley Council recognises the people of the Bundjalung Nations as custodians and traditional owners of this land, and we value and appreciate the continual cultural connections to lands, their living culture and their unique role in the life of this region, in the past, present and future. Mr General Manager, could you read the prayer, please?
Dear Lord, we meet to serve our community, to use our resources wisely and well, to represent all members of our community fairly, to make decisions that promote the common good. We recognise our responsibility to the past and the future, and the rights and needs of both individuals and community. As trusted servants, we seek blessings on our deliberations and on our efforts here today. May we act wisely and well. Amen.
Amen. Item 3, public access and question time. I believe there's been no requests, General Manager?
No requests received.
Apologies. We have no apologies, but I will note that Councillor Lyons is live streaming. Mayoral minutes says nil. Item 6, confirmation of the minutes. Can I get someone to move that confirmation, please?
Yeah, I'll move.
Second.
If I could make a comment, Mr Mayor.
Yes.
The minutes as written are accurate. You may recall that I put in a declaration of interest for item 16 for the event funding support scheme, and had that been debated, I would leave the room. Then, without thinking, I moved the matters determined without debate. So on that page, page 18, I'm sitting there having moved that event funding support scheme. So I just in the light of proprietary, I wondered if there was a note that could be made.
Was that moved in Globo? Yes, so there was no debate, Mr General Manager.
Yeah, there was no debate, so I think just an appropriate note in the minutes just to highlight that fact that there was no debate and you obviously had no opportunity to influence that decision.
And I'll be more careful next time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Councillor Lyons, you wanted to comment on the accuracy of the minutes?
Yes, I did. Thank you, Mr Mayor. I have some concerns with that. Sometimes we get people who come in from the community and seem to put in a fair amount of time and effort into preparing for their presentation. And when we allow them a 5-minute, I think we could do more justice by maybe extending the amount of minutes or putting in something that goes into an attachment or a link,
Councillor, I'm just looking at page 7 of the minutes, and item 3.1, it does mention there that about the question time, and item 14.2, Boundary Creek beach erosion, and it gives us like a one big paragraph summary, but also we do live stream, and it's also on council website, so any person can go to that website at any time and look at what was actually said. I think that's a fair way of doing it, and also I'm sure if someone's seen that and they noticed that whoever was speaking, they could contact that person too to get, if they showed some interest, and I'm sure those people would be only too happy to talk to them. But I don't know if Mr. General Manager, you want to make a comment, or you?
Oh, look, I think we've just followed what has been our practice for recording these. There's obviously a balance between the full detail of a 5-minute, up to 5-minute speech with a good summary, which I think highlights what some of the key things that Dr. Gates outlined in this instance. But as you said, full recordings of our council meetings are now available on our website. So for those interested who want to know the exact detail, could go to that recording and listen to what Dr. Gates shared with council in this instance. Look, we can have a look at how some other councils record their public access, but I think it's this is sort of the approach we've been taking. I suppose it's the first time it's been raised, so happy to take the concerns on board, and we'll consider that. It might be something that we, given the stage of where we're at in the electoral cycle, might be something that we consider as we enter the next election term, and where we'll be needing to review our codes of meeting practice and other protocols, so I can take that on board.
Thank you.
That answer your question?
Yes, it does.
Thank you. Any other accuracy of the minutes? I'll put that motion. All those in favour? Carried. Item 7, matters arising out of the minutes. Any councillor? Councillor Simpson?
Yes, Mr Mayor, just 16.3, the water tower mural. I'm just wondering when we might start to see some work on the ground in relation to that.
Mr. General Manager?
I'll let Director Jones answer that. I think she might have an update on that.
Through you, Mr Mayor, we were hoping to get some work started in August, which is only a few weeks away, but obviously COVID is playing a little bit of havoc with our plans. So we have sought an extension to the grant to just give us a little bit of wriggle room, but we're hoping to get started in the coming weeks if we are able to get our artists down here to do that work.
Any other matters arising? Declarations of interest. Has any councillor got a declaration of interest? Mr. General Manager, have you had any? Oh, Councillor Sim.
Yeah, I submitted one earlier today, Mr Mayor, and that is item 20.3, the tender for cemetery maintenance, as I am friends with one of the tenderers.
That's a non-pecuniary. Thank you.
Yes.
Enough detail?
Yeah, that's fine. I've also got a declaration of interest in the same item, 20.3, from our Director, Organisational Services, Ryan Gator. So it's the tender for cemetery maintenance and operational assistance. And in this instance, the tender is a family friend. It is non-pecuniary. So I just want that on the record.
Thank you. We don't need a motion for that, do we? No.
And I just should say that the Director in this instance has had nothing to do with the assessment of this tender.
Thank you. Any other declarations? Petitions nil, notice of motions nil. On page 8, mayoral attendance, I'll move that. Can I get a second, please? Thank you, Councillor Morrissey. Any business or questions or business arising out of that?
Yes, Mr Mayor. 16th Corokai Business Chamber launch.
was attended by a few of us, and it was really well attended. Has there been any more feedback? I'm not quite sure. I'll ask the General Manager, but I'll just make a comment on it. I would think there would have been 40 to 50 people there. Some of the councillors were attended, and it was a well-organised night. They had Jane Laverty there from the Chamber, Regional Chamber, and I think it was well received, and I'm not sure if they've had their AGM or anything. Mr General Manager, have you heard any more?
Oh, look, the last I heard, I know that they were having a follow-on committee meeting of the Chamber, but as far as more general meetings, I'm not aware. I know that Latoya Cooper, one of our staff members, is in regular communication with them and supporting them as they develop their chamber, so I'm sure that when meetings come up she will attend that and let us know of those opportunities to contribute and support them.
Any other questions? Yeah, one more, Mr Mayor. On the 24th of June, the Wholesome Collective Cooking Event, Ellangowan. Would you consider it being a success? Yes, it was. They actually run 3 of those cooking events in the Richmond Valley. Did you partake in cooking? No, I did not. And I'll be honest with you, I got my timers mixed up and I just happened to arrive when the food was getting served. Very unfortunate, wasn't it? But no, it was a good night, and everyone that was in, they had a good roll-up. I think they would have had 10 to 12 people there. And it was good for the Ellangowan community to have that there. And there was one in the Lower River, I think, and one in Casino, was that correct? Yeah, so they were good and well attended. And yeah, it was good fun, actually. So, any other? Thank you. I'll just raise about the 25th, the NRLX Whiteface Bulls and Cow Sale. The top bull made $16,000 from memory, and I think last year the top price was $9,000. So it was a very successful sale. There weren't many lots handed in, and I think there's an all breeds bull sale coming up in a week or two at the sale yard. So hopefully the prices are just as good for those. Their prices they're achieving now have never been seen before. So, any other? Nope. I'll move that then. All those in favour? Delegates' reports. I'll move that.
Second.
Councillor Humphreys. Any questions?
Yes, Mr Mayor, just a question in regards to, there's just a line here, Council endorsed to the approach to lease the Lismore VIC. Just wondering if you could give us a little bit more info on that.
Lismore Council abandoned their tourist information centres some time back, and it sat there and they put it out to, I think, tender or interest. And Rouse put in that they would like to be involved in that. A few of the finer details are yet to be finalised, but Rouse will use it as a cultural centre and to let the community know a bit more about what Rouse's activities are. And Lismore now will have some tourism representative there for some part-time of the week.
Okay, thank you. And the proposed sale of 56 to 60 Carrington Street and 31 to 33 Conway Street, Lismore.
Yep.
Can you provide some info on that?
Yeah, that's the old, it was the old chamber from many years ago. It's joins the old Trevan car yard, and it's been rented out for a while. Will never be any further use to Rouse. They've been offered a pretty fair or good price, and sometimes I wonder why Rouse, actually, it was their old building, but why they kept it. But I think the money can be used elsewhere. It is floodplain land, but the organisation that wants to buy it will make good use of it.
Just on the following item there under confidential matters, the purchase of the property as described in the body of the report. So is that top secret, is it, where they're trying to purchase that property?
Is that consolidation of workplace locations? Is
Yes.
that the one you're talking about?
Yep.
Yeah, that's not, that was confidential, but the media seem to have got hold of it. So I can only tell you what's in the media. I can't go any further, but Council, Rouse is definitely looking at purchasing a property in the Ballina Council area. They've been in the CBD of Lismore for many, many years. It's flood-prone. They only rent the building. There's things that like to be done there. It's got a very long ramp access, makes it hard. There's lifts. You have to go to the 4th floor to go into Rouse's front office. They amalgamated in 2016 with Richmond River County Council and Far North Coast Swedes, brought them all under the one umbrella. They've got about 3 different or 4 different work spots all over the area. Rouse's latest resolution, which will come up to council again tomorrow, was to have groundwater in the lower river and also desalination. So a lot of Rouse's operational activities will happen now in the lower river. And the depot at South Lismore floods. It's up on stilts. When it gets wet, staff can't come to work. And you'd have a lot of work need to be done down in Ballina, but people can't get there. So it'll take 3 to 5 years to actually happen. They've talked to the unions. The disappointing part is there's been some councillors on from Rouse on the media stating that council's just looking for options. The resolution was that the general manager and the chair, if negotiations with that property, to sign it. So if they work out, it'll be done. And I know some people are saying Rouse is abandoning the CBD. There's 2 ways of looking at that. One, Lismore was very lucky to have an organisation like Rouse in the CBD. None of the other member councils have. They've had it there for many years. And the other one, as we recall, years ago, Lismore's own council, they went up on the plateau too and left the CBD. So sometimes some hard decisions have to be made, but for the benefit of the whole region, not just Lismore Council, it's a good move and will be a cost saving in the long run. It'll save over $1 million in coming years, $1 million in coming years. So yeah. Is that enough? Or
Could I just make one comment? It will be exciting to share the information with you when we can. The place, you'd swear it was purpose-built for Rouse. And as the Mayor said, the savings, because they're leasing the admin building, yeah, it will be good to share it with you and, you know, not just be hearing things second-hand that are leaking.
and we'll be able to bring all those operations, outdoor, indoor staff, everything, all together.
Can I just ask, you mentioned the groundwater options of the lower river, and obviously there was some significant community feedback when Rouse went to the community about the Dunoon Dam options. Has there been any progression with that?
There has been. The agenda is tomorrow to make the final decision, and it's overall overwhelming. An overall result was that the community want the dam investigated. And on the previous, in December, the decision was made on about 1,300 votes, and that's not all for not having the dam, but we're talking 10 to 11,000 signatures or submissions all combined, saying they want the dam back as an investigated option. And there was a petition. I know the petition had 10,000 signatures, and there's people saying, oh, it's just a petition. But petitions were used in the December decision, so petitions need to be considered in tomorrow's decision. So I'll have some more news tomorrow afternoon about 3 o'clock. Any other questions? Put that motion in. All those in favour? Carried. Matters determined without debate, page 12. Has any councillor got any items they'd like to call?
16.1.
15.1.
Sorry, Daniel.
15.1.
Mine was 16. so-
16.1?
Yep.
16.1.
16.1. Sorry? Sorry, Jill? Or councillor Lyons?
15.1.
15.1.
14.1.
What was that?
14.1.
These masks, that's what I'm blaming. So we've got 14.1, 15.1, 16.1. Yeah?
Yep.
So that leaves 14.2.
Mm.
I need a mover for 14.2, please. Councillor Morrissey. Councillor Humphrey, second. I'll put that motion. All those in... Oh, Councillor Lyons. So we have Councillor Morrissey moving 14.2 and Councillor Lyons seconding, correct? I'll put that motion in. All those in favour? Carried. 14.1, Councillor Humphreys.
With the recommendation, Mr Mayor.
Second.
Councillor Hayes. Councillor Humphreys.
Mr Mayor, I wanted to draw this one out because it's the statistics are incredible. Starting off with your 5 years, Richmond Valley Council has secured government funding commitments of more than $100 million for vital community projects and programs, and so far has 86.4. And it's got to be said that Richmond Valley Council has always been proactive and always on the front foot, particularly in the last few years, just hungry, almost hungry to find funds to be able to build and have projects for the community. A lot of hard work and planning and research and grant writing, of course, goes into all of this. And it goes without saying, or it's being said by a lot of people, to be honest, Richmond Valley Council does have a good relationship with funding bodies. I reckon they pretty much have smiles on their faces when they receive an application, and they would be keen to look at it because Richmond Valley Council has such a good reputation for delivering projects on time and within budget. It's almost overwhelming, and just to look at page 17, and we're looking at the significant capital projects, the funding commitments over the 5 years, and it has been almost overwhelming on occasion to receive the money from the government for these projects. I believe that it's incredibly rewarding to see such an impressive list for our Richmond Valley communities, knowing that council will never drop the ball. They will always continue to do their utmost to secure these grants for projects. And I guess the exciting news is with a new council coming up, they'll have a new wish list for you. So I just wanted to say thank you very much and congratulations to everybody on receiving this huge amount of money for grants for our community projects.
Any other speakers? Councillor Hayes?
Yeah, I'd just like to say that like $100 million is a substantial input into the community with these grants that we've been receiving, and it's good to see a summary of them there nearing the end of our council term that they've happened in the last 5 years. So, you know, it's a good report to have kicking around at this time. So thank you.
Any other speakers? Look, I'd just like to say that at the beginning of this term, no one would have thought that over $100 million would be made available through government grants to this council. Unfortunately, some of these grants came after disasters that impacted our community. However, council has renewed and repaired these assets and gave the undertaking that we would build back bigger and better. And tonight we will consider one of those projects being the Rapville Hall. So I think it's outstanding, and a lot of the congratulations needs to go to the staff who wrote a lot of those applications and got the master plans done and the DAs through in short times and things like that. So it's rewarding, and at the end of the day, the community's the ones that have benefited by it, and that's what we're here to do. Councillor Lyons, did you want to say anything? No? Okay.
I just think it's been, it's just an amazing effort from everyone involved, and it's something to go out on, like for all of us to finish up a term on such a high. I think it's huge effort for the community. So thank you to everyone involved, the council, all the hard work that they've been for writing grants with and big jobs. So this is huge.
Councillor Humm, did you want to reply?
Mr Mayor, I think another of the reasons that Council has been so successful is we've always kept our eye on the community strategic plan. We've always aligned any of our own thoughts or wishes for the community back to the strategic plan. And when we can tick one off, we're looking, staff and council, we're looking for the next couple of projects to have shovel ready and plans for. So I think that's been really advantageous as well.
To close the debate, I'll put that motion. All those in favour? Carried. Oh, sorry, Mr. General, you can.
Just a quick comment. Obviously, thank you, and you're right that a lot of effort from a lot of people go into this. I just thought it was appropriate to acknowledge Jono Patino, who put this report together. Jono sort of oversees all of our grant funding, and I think timely just to give Jono a nod. He's worked with Richmond Valley Council for 11 years, done a lot of good work in supporting our grants processes. But Jono's taken an opportunity to move across to Rouse County Council, and so it's a good opportunity for him at his stage of his career. Moves a bit closer to home, although depending on where Rouse moves to or not, that might change. But I think it's, just so thanks to Jono for the effort that he put into this report, because I think it's important that we review these things and see what we can do even better as we move into the next electoral term. So,
could you pass on our appreciation of that report and also wish him the best in his new venture?
Yep, I'll do that for sure. Thank you.
15.1, page 22, Councillor Lyons.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I just had a quick question. I've noticed that our...
I'll just get you to move it and a seconder.
Yes, I always forget, sorry.
Seconder, please. Councillor Cornish. Councillor Lyons.
Thank you, sorry about that. I noticed that our investments in non-fossil fuel is steadily growing, which is really, really good. A percentage of that is coming through T-Corp, and I was wanting to know, do we actually have a list of the companies, etc., that T-Corp's investing in to uphold that management of environmentally, socially, especially with the climate change and the impact that will have over a long term? Do they make that available?
Mr. General Manager, could you?
Director of Organisational Services, you get an update on that stuff?
Mr. Gator.
Yeah, we get, through you, Mr Mayor, Councillor Lyons, we get a report each month from T-Corp that talks about what their investments in and how the main investments are broken up. We can ask for further detail on that. What we could do is flick you that monthly one we get, and if there's not enough detail in that for you, we could actually request some more information. T-Corp are very good at giving us information on what they're investing their money in.
Oh, that would be excellent, thank you.
Anything else?
No, that was the main thing, and that's really helpful, thank you.
Thank you. Any other councillors? Put that motion then. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. 16.1, Councillor Simpson.
I'll move the recommendation.
Councillor Hayes seconding. Councillor Simpson?
Probably more a comment than a question, I guess, but I'm just reading the report, particularly in regards to some of these roads potentially remaining in state hands, and then reading particularly around the Woodburn main road, if the road remains under state control as a regional road, any elements of any concept streetscape design will need to cater for B-double freight traffic. That concerns me greatly, and is something that has, well, before I was unaware of until now. I know we did put that road forward as a potential road to go under state control, but I don't know that the future of Woodburn town needs to include B-doubles. Now, is there a question in there somewhere? I don't know. it's probably more
I understand
comment,
what you're
but-
getting at. Yep. Mr General Manager.
I suppose it's a fair point, but that's, I suppose, why we need to do some of the traffic studies to make informed decisions around, does it need to be a B-double route? So, because that would need to take into account how you get on and off the motorway, and obviously, you know, as an example, what are the sugar mill movements with their trucks? So I suppose that's why we need to do that assessment of how vehicles sort of move in and around, so that we can look at options as to how we can create that CBD precinct that we know all the businesses and the community would like. But for that to happen, we need to be confident that there isn't a need for the B-doubles to transit through there. So I suppose that's why we need to get into a next level of detail to get those traffic studies happening. We obviously wrote to the Minister seeking, you know, some funding and support for that work to happen. We didn't get a nod on the funding, but we'll be pushing Transport New South Wales to get on with some of those studies and assessment work to get it happening.
Is there a time frame for decisions to be made over who retains control over those roads?
No.
Well, I think the letter, I'm just checking the report, says here that we're advised to, you know, successful in the coming months, so you can read that as being within a month or within 6. Some of those things take longer. Obviously, there is an independent panel involved in this road reclassification review, but you know, I'd like to think, yeah, there's certainly be something happening before the end of the year, so that we can get some certainty and make some decisions about how we plan to move forward.
That announcement and commitment was made in 2019 in February, but it was coming into an election, and now that's since the election, it's over 2 years. So I just that's why I said no, because they're saying in coming months, but who knows when coming months will be. But it just seems to have stalled a lot. They have report says they have got a committee looking at all these, and you can imagine how many's been submitted statewide, but you think they'd be starting to tick a few off by now. The other speakers? Councillor Humphries.
Mr Mayor, about a third of the way down page 26, I think it's vital that the physical maintenance work should remain with council, with the knowledge, experience and historic treatment records ensuring quality results. And then that follows on with another important line there, relies on the works associated with the state and regional roads to support a percentage of its operational workforce, along with the road maintenance plant and equipment. So it's really important for council to have that really good partnership, but I do really believe that physical maintenance should stay with the Richmond Valley Council.
Councillor Hayes.
Yeah, I too. I was pretty surprised that they're going to leave the main street of Woodburn open to B-doubles. I think it's, you know, it's very imperative that that doesn't happen, no matter, you know, which way the street goes. We don't want the B-doubles coming down there after all the beautification work and what the street could be in the future. Can I just ask a question? All the other roads that are mentioned there, are they all going to be B-double? Like the road from Kyogle to Lismore, across through Norton's Gap, Wyrella Road, Lismore Road?
Just because they're a regional road doesn't necessarily mean they're a B-double, so they're separate issues. Some roads are deemed B-doubles, so there is a
The reason I bring it up is I've got no objection with them coming off the highway and turning over the Woodburn Bridge and heading to Corrocky and across to Lismore. And they don't need to come through the main street, but we'll have issues with the cane trucks getting in those farms close around Woodburn and getting out. But there's not many. So, I don't know, needs to look at into.
Yeah, I think that's why with now the motorways there, we need to look at all of those sorts of movements in and around, Woodburn through to Broadwater and how they link, so that either, decisions can be made on how to adjust those. We're making, there's some work happening in Broadwater to the aim being to remove some of those truck movements where trucks come off the highway so that they don't actually get to the old highway, that intersection. They'll go in the back way across to the sugar mill. So that's, I'm trying to think of the name of that road. It's not coming to me. Something Quarry Road, isn't it? Is it Broadwater Quarry Road? Yeah, intersection of Broadwater Quarry Road and Broadwater Evans Head Road. The aim is for the large trucks to go in through there into the back of the mill to avoid the residential precinct. But you're right, we need to have a look at all those different movements and minimise the impact on residential areas in the Woodburn CBD.
Years ago when they did the Broadwater Bridge, that was all about getting the cane trucks to get out and not travel through Woodburn. Yeah, so.
Any other questions? Councillor Simpson, you write a right reply. I'll put that motion then. Oh, Councillor Lyons, did you want to say anything? No. She's on mute.
You're on mute, Councillor Lyons.
Can't hear you. You there?
I think you're back. You're back now, I think, Councillor Lyons? Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, nothing changed my end.
No. Did you want to speak anything on item 16.1?
No, the point that I was going to raise was covered. Thank you.
Thank you. So we've got no right of reply requested. I'll put that motion. All those in favour? Carried. Councillors, we now go to page 30, matters for information. Sandy, could I get a mover, please? Seconder, Councillor Simpson. Councillor Morrissey, mover. Councillor Simpson, second. Councillor Morrissey, anything? Councillor Simpson? No? Any other councillors? Councillor Humphreys?
Mr Mayor, I'd just like to comment on how progressive this customer experience report has become and how you can drill down to find so much information. Some of the stats figures, like in the certificates and customer, the certificates, it's the stats figures, as I said, they're very interesting, but when you drill down, you can see why things are happening. For example, lots more applications because of the surge in real estate activity. So I can just, and there's many other really good examples in there. So I can just see council being able to really look at a lot of this information and use it elsewhere. And just congratulations again. I think the only little glitch that I saw was on page 37, where there were two times that there was no response from council staff. I'd like to say how, I went for a little while to one of the e-planning portal meetings, and I thought that what I saw there was very interesting, and it looked like they've been taken up, those meetings were taken up really well, and looks like it's being very successful. In those opportunities for improvement, it's to be expected that it takes a little while to train and upskill new inexperienced staff, and it's just the excellent work just keeps continuing. So congratulations to the frontline staff for all the work that they do for the organisation as well.
Any other councillor Hayes?
Just a comment on the e-planning. I went to the meeting in Evans Head, and in here it says the workshops were well received by builders, planning consultants and first-time developers who found the sessions informative, which they were. How many numbers did you get at the other ones? Because I know in Evans Head there's only 3 attendees and
think there
7
was
staff.
around- I think there was 8 or 10.
4 in Evans.
So 8 or 10 in Casino, I think.
Oh, I think there was, it would have been about a dozen.
Yeah, the rooms seem full to capacity.
Dozen in the casino one. Included some of the higher volume planning consulting firms and also builders, some of the larger builders that have done some projects for us as well. So it was a good roll-up.
Thank you.
Councillor Simpson?
I'll just ask a question, just in regards to staff responding to customer inquiries within the agreed service level commitment of 24 hours. Is that for the whole customer service centre that we normally respond within 24 hours?
Director?
Through you, Mr Mayor. Our customer service charter is organisation-wide, and we do expect our officers to respond within the 24-hour period.
Can now ask, how do we measure that?
To be honest, it's a little bit difficult, particularly when we get referrals. So an inquiry might come in through our call centre and refer to a technical officer. And I suppose what we try and do is we aim to have the first point of contact answering the questions, and that's stats that we do monitor. And this report does break that down of some instances where additional information is required from a more technical officer. The technical officer does receive the email with that request, and that technical officer needs to email back the call centre when they have made that call, and that's how the stats are collected. So it's not perfect, it relies on the officer emailing back, but generally, more often than not, they do, and our customer experience staff do go and chase that information up to make sure that items have been actioned.
I'll just make a comment there. I think the point to make, though, is it depends on the complexity of the inquiry. Not all inquiries can be, when we use the word response, doesn't mean that you get your answer fully complete, done and dusted within 24 hours, because no, I think it's an important point to make, because, you know, you say 24, when you read this, I can understand this raises a question, well, that means I'll get my issue solved within 24 hours. We can't meet that service level for some inquiry, you know, some quick inquiries, but I think the point is to actually acknowledge the customer has made an inquiry and set it. Our aim would be to set an expectation for how long that might take to deal with whatever the issue might be.
Any other, Councillor Simpson? No? Okay. Look, I'd just like to highlight a couple of little points in the report. And on page 31, receipt of administration statistics, a total of 3,120 receipts were processed for the period reported, which is an increase of 17.58%. You go over to certificates and customer requests, that's a big increase, up by 84%. S10 10.7s are up 61%. CRMs rose by 37.8%. And on the next page, customer request management systems, they're up 37.8%. So it's a lot of work, and it's a positive report, which is great to hear. Any other speakers? Councillor Morrissey, right a reply? Oh, hang on, sorry. I've got it. I'm moving on to another item. And it's over on page 47. And that previous item we spoke about most probably leads into a bit of this, that why they're so busy. On page 47, you'll see that the total dollar amount of development applications this year is over 65,000. A million, sorry, 65 million, and it's never been over 50 million before, and I think that's a pretty substantial increase. And also, if you flip the page, because it's up, but there's also been almost 350 applications lodged, and that's the first time that's been over 300. So. You know, these figures, they show there's confidence in the Richmond Valley, and Council has encouraged many initiatives to achieve this and has worked with our community to have this outcome. So I think it's not only a council win, but it's also for the community and developers and people who want to build their first homes, and it's really, really good. And I'm pleased to say that that has been achieved, because to get 300 DAs, to me, has been a bit of a goal, and it's way achieved it. You can see we've always been touching on it, but now we've just really jumped it, and that's a great effort. So congratulations to everyone. Any other speakers on matters for information?
Just back across those two items, if you note on page 34, the applications for alterations and additions have increased dramatically, because there's a lot of renovation and stuff going on now because of the property values are going up. People are staying put. It stands out.
Any other speakers? Councillor Humphries?
Mr Mayor, just looking at the grant applications, page 44 and 45, we were asked to prioritise some projects recently, and there they are sitting there with the grant applications being submitted. The revitalisation of the community play space at Crawford Square, the upgrade of the Richmond Valley Town entry signs, and the Corokai swimming pool play space. So thank you for that.
Just back to Councillor Hayes, is at 34, like the alterations, and it may be COVID, people staying home, not travelling, the government grants, I think they got grants for all that type of stuff, so all fits together. Yeah. All right, any other on matters for information? Councillor Morrissey, right a reply. Councillor Humphries, Councillor Lyons?
Thank you.
Okay, I'll put that motion then. All those in favour? Thank you. Page 59, questions on notice. There's nil. 19, has any councillor got a question for the next meeting in writing?
Yes, Mr Mayor. I have a couple. One, could the General Manager please outline the community consultation process that Council will undertake in relation to the development application for the construction of a 24-hour service station and restaurant complex at New Italy? Two is, could the General Manager please provide Council with an update on the proposed Bentley Quarry expansion? And three, could the General Manager please explain what is the trigger for a DA to be referred to the JRPP?
You can. Do you want the answer now, if you've got them? Yeah, please.
Community consultation process started on Monday for the DA that's been lodged at New Italy and is on exhibition until the 16th of August at 4 p.m. Off the top of my head. So that was that's available on our website in full detail. There's a lot of documents to read through. It's quite a comprehensive DA. Obviously, yeah, a bit to work through there, so our team are dealing with that. So as far as the community's input goes, as with all DAs, there's the opportunity to make submissions, and as I encouraged in an ABC radio interview I was required to do, that when people do make their submission, they need to focus on the reasons and the evidential reasons for why they either support it or they do not support it. Using our website, I think it was also posted on Facebook. Pretty confident that the local newspapers will include articles on it as well, and also letterbox drops to the immediate sort of neighbourhood would have been done as well. So that's how we'll be consulting, or the opportunities there for the community to give feedback. Obviously, as part of the DA process, it also gets referred to quite a number of state government agencies for their input, including the Heritage Office, Transport for New South Wales, the Natural Resource Access Regulator, who regulates access to water. So they're included as well. I think that covers that one. Second question was update on the proposed DA for the Bentley Quarry. I don't have an update because we haven't received one. We will await a DA. Obviously, the proponent or landowner there has communicated with the surrounding community and I suppose made some intentions clear there. But our job is to wait until the DA is lodged, if it is lodged, and we'll obviously then go through that assessment process. Our staff monitor activity in that area because we're certainly aware that some of the neighbours provided information around claims of the use of that. So we continue to monitor any activity in that vicinity. And what was number 3?
JR.
I might defer to Director Jones, who I think might be doing some quick research. I know that the trigger, I think it's capital investment, or she can confirm this for me, I think it's a capital investment value of over 30 million. If it's a council project, it's 5 million. So for us, so as an example, the Casino Memorial Swimming Pool is valued at more than 5. That's why the JRPP are assessing it. But yeah, I think the 30 mil is, over to you, Director Jones.
Through you, Mr Mayor, my alerted colleague here, my fellow director, has found it on the internet for me. So just to confirm that the capital investment value is $30 million or over. It's 5 million if the development is council related, lodged by or on behalf of the Crown, private infrastructure and community facilities, and eco-tourist facilities. The other triggers are extractive industries, waste facilities and marinas that are designated development, certain coastal subdivisions, and the development with the CIV value between $10 million and $30 million, which is referred to the planning panel by an applicant after 120 days.
Answer your question? Thank you. No other questions in writing? Page 60. Councillors, I need a recommendation to go into closed session.
Moved.
Second.
Morrissey, Councillor Humphreys. Mr General Manager, has there been any written representation made regarding this meeting going into closed council? If so, could you read the representation, please? Are there any verbal representations from the members of the public?
No.
No? Councillors? Councillor Lyons, you all right? Okay, I'll put that motion then. All those in favour? Carried. Simon, done? Mr General Manager, could you read the resolutions from closed council, please?
So item 20.1, Casino Industries Activation Negotiation Update. Council resolved to note the update provided on the Casino Industries Activation Project. 2, support the actions set out in this report under option 1 and to secure the funding to commence pre-planning work for the Casino Industries Activation Project under the Government's Bushfire Local Economic Recovery Fund. 3, authorises the General Manager to enter into and sign required documents, call options, contracts and transfers, including affixing the seal of council where appropriate, for the lease and sale of the land generally in accordance with the details contained within this report and prior to council and the prior council report regarding this matter of 19 September 2017. And 4, authorises the General Manager to action option 2 as set out in this report to enable Casino Industries Activation Infrastructure Project to proceed. Item 20.2, tender VP 217057, installation and monitoring of council security system. Council resolved that 1, council accepts the tender from Dash Integrated Systems, which represents best value for council at $55,269.18, exclusive of GST, for the first year, including installation and monitoring of council's offices and building. An option for a further 2 years, 1 year plus 1 year, be awarded on satisfactory performance, and the yearly amount for monitoring services to be increased as per the Consumer Price Index. And 3, the General Manager be authorised to negotiate and finalise the terms and conditions of any contract or agreement in line with the content of this report and the available budget, and affixing the seal of council where necessary.
Done?
No, more to go. Someone might want to get ready to do 20.4. 20.3, tender VP 244401, cemetery maintenance and operational assistance. Recommendation that council accepts the tendered price schedules from S.R. Davidson and T.A. Davidson for cemetery maintenance and operational assistance with an estimated annual cost of $75,427 exclusive of GST per year. An option for a further 2 years, assessed at annual intervals, be awarded on satisfactory performance and the yearly amount to be increased as per the Consumer Price Index. The General Manager be authorised to negotiate and finalise the terms and conditions of any contract or agreement in line with the content of this report and the available budget, and fixing the seal of council where necessary.
In relation to item 20.4, tender VP 240268, construction of the Rapville Hall, council resolved that 1, council accepts the tender from G.J. Bennett and S.C. Robertson, which represents the best value for council at $1,199,495.45 exclusive of GST. And 2, the General Manager be authorised to negotiate and finalise the terms and conditions and sign any contract or agreement in line with the content of this report and the available budget, and affixing the seal of council where necessary.
In item 20.5, tender VP 245985, Reynolds Road Industrial Estate Electrical Reticulation. Recommend that 1, council accepts the tender from Quanta Lines Proprietary Limited, which represents the best value for council at $244,540 exclusive of GST. And 2, the General Manager be authorised to negotiate and finalise the terms and conditions and sign any contract or agreement in line with the content of this report and the available budget, and affixing the seal of council where necessary.
In relation to item 20.6, outcome of negotiations, Northern Rivers Livestock Exchange Feeding Contract, tender VP 204658. Recommended that 1, council receives and notes the outcomes of the negotiations for tender VP 204658, Northern Rivers Livestock Exchange Feeding Contract, and 2, notes and the award of the contract to McRae Harvesting and Baling Contractors under the terms outlined in this report.
Mr. General Manager? Thank you to those who took the time to watch tonight's meeting, staff and councillors for your attendance, and everyone have a safe trip home. It closes the meeting. Thank you.